Welcome to the third lesson of Quality Management course. In this lesson, we'll explore industry's de facto and de jure quality standards and tools. We'll learn about quality management frameworks and best practices, including lean manufacturing, Deming wheel, CMM or Capability Maturity Model, TQM or Total Quality Management, Needs Management Framework, Quality Management Framework, Six Sigma, another management framework and a set of best practices, and of course the famous ISO 9000 standard, quality standard. So what's lean manufacturing? The principle in lean manufacturing is that anything that does not add value to the customer is considered waste. Lean production focuses on eliminating waste in processes as well as products. Lean production is about reducing cost and shortening cycle times between orders and ship time and ship date. A crucial first step in process improvement is to identify the current state, understand the existing processes and dependencies, identify all activities currently involved in developing a new product. Third is to identify value-added activities, non-value-added but required activities, and non-value-added activities. The final step is to eliminate the non-value-added activities and materials as well as product features. The second management framework is the Deming wheel. Deming wheel is a quality wheel that consists of 4 phases: plan, do, check, and act. At the center of the wheel is continuous improvement. The planning activities include selecting a process, documenting it, and analyzing the data. It also includes setting the goals for improvement and evaluating available alternatives. The final activity part of the planning phase include developing a plan and an improvement measures or metrics. The second phase is the doing phase, or in the doing activities include implementing the plan and monitoring effectiveness. The checking phase activities include analyzing the data on the effectiveness of change. The fourth phase include activities such as documenting and implementing improved processes as standard procedures. The third management framework is Capability Maturity Model, or what we normally refer to as CMM, the acronym for Capability Maturity Model. CMM is a well-established industry model for describing process improvement. It categorizes the maturity of a process into 5 levels: chaotic, repeatable, defined, managed, and optimized. At the chaotic level, the key characteristics of an organization process or work include the lack of formal procedures, the lack of documentation, work is done on ad hoc basis, and there are no management controls to ensure procedures are followed. At the repeatable level, maturity level, the key characteristics of an organization is the existence of established basic management controls, but the key challenges at this level include the fact that the process is dependent on individuals, and there is no framework for improvement, as well as there is no documentation. The third level, at the third level, the defined maturity level, the key characteristics is that process is defined, documented, and followed. Also the processes are not dependent on individuals. The key challenges to this maturity level is that there is no formalized change procedures. At the management level, the key characteristics are that processes are measured and change procedures are formalized. Also, processes are properly quantified. The best advantage of this state of maturity is the focus on preventive action versus corrective action. The fifth and the final level of maturity of an organization quality is the optimized. At the optimized level, the organization already saves time, effort, and cost in doing business and excel in quality compliance, quality assurance and quality control. In fact, quality becomes an integral part of the entire culture and an integral part of the business strategy. Total quality management. The ISO definition of total quality management is as follows. A quality management approach of an organization based on the participation of all of its members and aiming at long-term success through customer satisfaction and benefits to all members of the organization and the society. By the 1980s, the idea was advancing quality leadership could be achieved only by applying the entire array of quality tools and techniques to all functions at all levels of the company. This approach was called total quality management, and it was inspired by the Japanese management system. TQM is well expressed in practical terms by the Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award. The criteria is published by the National Institute for Standards and Technology, NIST. The criteria includes 5 elements or 5 categories. It includes 7 categories: leadership, information, analysis, strategic quality planning, human resources development and management, management of processes, quality and operational results, customer focus and satisfaction, and the quality of business results. It's important to note that the criteria are evaluated and improved annually. The evaluation of leadership consists of or considers the leadership systems, values, expectations, and public responsibilities. The evaluation of information and analysis considers the effectiveness of information systems to support customer-driven performance, excellence, and marketplace success. The evaluation of the planning, strategic planning, considers the effectiveness of strategic and business planning and deployment of plans with focus on performance requirement. The fourth criteria, the evaluation of the fourth criteria, the human resources focus, considers the success of efforts to realize the full potential of workforce to create a high-performance organization. The evaluation of the fifth criteria, the process management, considers the effectiveness of systems and processes for assuring the quality of products and services. The evaluation of the sixth criteria, customer and market focus, considers how the company determines customer and market requirement and achieves customer satisfaction. The seventh and the final criteria is the evaluation of business results, and this criteria considers the performance results and competitive benchmarking in customer satisfaction, financial, human resources, suppliers, and operations. The TQM wheel. If you notice at the center of the TQM wheel, you have the customer satisfaction. This emphasizes or stresses the importance of a customer-driven business processes. This model takes into consideration the employee involvement, and that includes the cultural change, teams, individual development, awards, and incentives. It also includes benchmarking, which is comparing your performance with the industry to help identify deviations. It includes process design, purchasing, problem-solving tools for improving quality, and product and services design. With the previous slide, we concluded the fourth management framework. With this slide, we're going to discuss the fifth management framework, which is Kaizen. So what's Kaizen? Kaizen is another Japanese-inspired quality system based on continuous improvement similar to TQM. Kai means change. Zen means good. In short, this phrase means change for better or continuous improvement too. By the way, it's very similar to TQM. Six Sigma is a process quality improvement technique for cutting cost, improving processes, and reducing business cycle times. It was invented by Motorola in 1980s and made popular by Allied Signal and GE or General Electric in the mid to late 1990s. Six Sigma is a Greek mathematical or statistical symbol used to define variations or variance in performance and thus used to measure consistency or quality. The system scores the quality of a process from 0 to 6. It's used of course, with 0 being as bad quality and 6 being perfect quality with no defects. Six Sigma is used in most enterprise processes from manufacturing to financial services. The result of implementing Six Sigma best practices or Six Sigma methodology is a high-quality workflow aligned with customer needs. Six Sigma system provides quality methodology used both in process improvement and design. The system embraces both continuous improvement and breakthrough performance. The process includes models for manufacturing and administration, as well as for design. The manufacturing and administration methodology is the DMAIC, or Define, Measure, Analyze, Improve, and Control. The existing process improvement, the success of the existing process improvement depends on the definition. We know what service levels, and we define defects. On measurement, we have proven metrics. On analysis, and of course, the question to answer is, do we have sufficient data? Improvement, can we articulate improvement within the system? And control, and we explained control before. Design for Six Sigma, or DFSS, methodology consists of, again, definition, measurement, analysis, design, and verification. There are 5 implementation steps for Six Sigma. Identifying critical characteristics throughout the enterprise, including marketing, engineering, and supply chain management, and other departments, of course. Identifying of product elements that influence critical characteristics. Identifying relevant process elements. Establishing maximum allowable tolerance for each product and each process element. Determining actual capability of the process. Six Sigma roles. The system implementation project of Six Sigma consists of 5 roles at 5 levels. The roles or the levels are team members, green belts, black belts, master black belts, and champion. The team members participate on the project and support its goals. A green belt delivers successful focus project using Six Sigma methodology and tool. A black belt is a leader of teams implementing the Six Sigma methodology on projects. He or she uses a more sophisticated statistical tools to help team members and the broader organization. Master black belt. A master black belt is a mentor, trainer, and coach of black belts and others in the organization. He or she brings the broad organization up to the required Six Sigma competency level. The 5th and final level is the champion. The champion is responsible for coordinating a business roadmap to achieve Six Sigma. He or she selects projects, execute controls, and remove roadblocks for Six Sigma implementation. And finally, we'll discuss the 7th management best practices framework, which is the famous ISO 9000 standard. ISO is the international standards organization founded in 1946 to promote the development of international standards. ISO is composed of member bodies from over 90 countries. The organization promotes a uniform technical standards across international boundaries. In about 1987, ISO published the first issue of a series of 5 international standards from 9000 to 9004. The ISO 9000 standards were intended to be advisory in nature and for use in two-party contractual situations. Later, it covered, of course, a third-party contractual situations. So, in short, ISO 9000 is a quality system registration or certification which involves the assessment and periodic audits by a third party, which is normally the quality system registrar. ISO 9000 standard describes the guidelines for the certification of quality for an organization and provides a framework to help you achieve the total quality management. It's important to note and it's important to realize that ISO 9000 does not guarantee, ISO 9000 certification does not guarantee good quality of products or services. Remember that any system is almost always dependent on people. And there is no such thing as error-free systems or error-free people or error-free organization. ISO 9000 just certifies that you are adopting certain procedures and methods satisfying the minimum requirements for ISO 9000 standards. In other words, certifying the difference between ad hoc operations versus having standard documented reference for your operational procedures. The final slide to complete in this lesson and to complete the concept of ISO 9000 is the ISO 9000 guidelines. ISO 9000 guidelines consist of 8 guidelines. The first one is management review, contract review, design control, quality management system, management responsibility, resource management, product realization, measurement, analysis, and improvement. Let's focus on some of these. Some of these guidelines are self-evident, and we already discussed in the previous lessons. But let's focus a little bit more on some of the guidelines. The management review. The management review includes the executive responsibility, quality policy, organization contract, and the organization. It also includes contract review, supplier capabilities, orders, and records. Design control includes design verification and validation. Management responsibility guidelines include guidelines for customer requirements that must be defined and fulfilled, quality policy providing framework for objectives and must be measurable, and an effective quality management system is properly communicated. As for the resource management guidelines, the guidelines includes recommendations to establish competency needs, determine training effectiveness, and determine the effectiveness of infrastructure and working environment provided for the staff. It also determines resources to implement and maintain quality management system, continually improve the system and update it, and of course meet customer objectives. The product realization is done, guidelines recommend establishing quality objectives and setting product requirements, obligations related to product like legal requirements, product functions and performance requirements must be defined, and the control of any customer intellectual properties. The final guideline is the measurement, analysis, and improvement. The recommendations in this guideline include monitoring customer perceptions on fulfillment of requirement through customer surveys, collecting customer satisfaction data needed to define, which of course needed to be defined and subsequently analyzed, conducting audits to verify compliance with planned arrangements as well as quality management requirements of both ISO 9001 and ISO 9002. Let's summarize and recap what we have covered in this lesson. We covered lean manufacturing and how and its main objectives of removing any waste from processed materials and people, for that matter, anything that does not contribute to the to adding value to the customer. We also discussed the Deming wheel, and at the center of Deming wheel is the continuous improvement. The third management framework we covered was the capability management model, which measures the maturity of the quality at an organization and its 5 levels. We defined and explained total quality management and what does it entails in terms of criteria on leadership, human resources, etc. We briefly introduced Kaizen, the Japanese-inspired management of continuous improvement, which is very similar, by the way, to total quality management. We spoke a little bit in more details about Six Sigma and the implementation of Six Sigma within the organization. And finally, we introduced ISO 9000 standard for quality and the guidelines for the implementation and certification within an organization. To conduct further research and learn more about the lesson concepts and the principles of these management frameworks, we recommend that you visit the following websites: i6sigma.com, which is a portal that has everything to do with Six Sigma news, updates, training, etc. The ISSP, which is the International Society for Six Sigma, the SME, or the Society for Manufacturing Engineers, of course, SME.org, lean.org, which is for lean manufacturing, ISO.org, which is for ISO 9000 standard, and of course, IIM-edu for .org for management best practices. With this, we conclude the third lesson about quality best practices. For more information on the course, for exercises, question and answers, and reference textbooks, please go to the UNINETTUNO website and click on Medhat Younes. Thank you, and I wish you the best.